Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue, and I am back for another marriage bootcamp / Waka and Tammy review. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So this episode, Jocelyn finds out that Stevie J filed to get primary custody of their daughter Bonnie Bella. And she was quite upset about it. Now, it's only temporary, but the judge granted temporary full custody to Stevie J because currently he is in a more stable situation. Jocelyn probably has somebody else watching Bonnie Bella for her while she and Ballistics did this show. And I think that's why he decided to do it right now, because it would only put it in his favor. Why have somebody else look after your children when you can have the child be with the father? I think that's probably the thought process. But for her, it feels like somebody took her child from her. So she's very upset. She's distraught. And Dr. Ish comes upstairs to talk to her. And I really love the advice that he gave her, which was, at the end of the day, you are a good mother. You are a fit mother. And they are not going to take custody away from you permanently. This is just for the moment. So you need to get on the phone and call your daughter and let her know what's happening and be strong for her. So we're going to let you sit out on the first exercise, the first drill, and, take care of your situation. And I thought that was such a beautiful moment, because she needed to hear that. I don't think that she would have made that decision had he not presented it to her in that way. Like, this is the way you need to handle it. And when she got on the phone to talk to her daughter, and she was trying to stay strong, and she was like, you're gonna have fun, with the other side of the family, and I want you to have fun, okay? Trying to ensure that Bonnie looks at this like a good thing and not something she should be sad or upset about, even though Jocelyn is sad and upset about it, and Ballistics has to be there. All right, mama, we'll see you when we get back, and we'll talk to you later, okay? Just being normal with the child so that she doesn't worry, because they feel that. And if we're worried, then they're worried. You know what I'm saying? So I really like the way she handled it. The rest of the house was given 2 glasses of champagne, some fruit, and some sexy pajamas. Okay, this episode was about intimacy and sex. Dr. Ish notices that Bianca's energy is kind of off when everybody sits down outside on the patio for the first drill. And really, she and Choses are still arguing about this guy that she was talking to when they had broken up. And I feel like this is just a way for him to distance himself. And he has something against her now that he can use to push her away when he feels like it. It's ridiculous. It's like, just say what you want and how you feel, and stop trying to use insignificant people that you didn't talk to on Instagram, you know what I'm saying, as a way to make it seem like Bianca has done you so wrong, when really you've done this consistently y'all entire relationship. But what do you say? Oh, we wasn't together. She's saying the same thing. It's the exact same situation. Everybody feels like it's the exact same situation except for Choses. And that's just because he doesn't want to admit that, because he likes to have something to use against her. It's fun for him. They get into how they still got it in that night though. And they often have relations and don't resolve issues. It just makes them not be upset for the moment. So even though they got into bed and did whatever they did, they wake up and he's still asking the same questions. Nothing is actually resolved. And when that starts to happen, you wonder if it's actually about a connection, or is it just about the physical? And in this situation, they're both young. They're both very beautiful people. I think a lot of it is just the physical, the lust and the extraness and the drama, the toxicity. When you're young, all of that shit is very appealing. But when you get older, you get tired of all of that. That starts to wear you out. Okay, I'm surprised Bianca hasn't gotten to this point yet. I don't even understand why she's with someone this much younger than her. I think he's 24 and she's 28 or something like that. Either way, she is past 25 and he is not made 25 yet. And she's in a relationship with him. When I was 25, 26, I could not imagine being with a man that was 22, 23. That doesn't even make sense to me. Like, I'm dating somebody either the same age or slightly older, but not too old, because I don't have daddy issues. So I don't need that. Okay. Not to say that everybody that dates an older person has daddy issues. That's not what I'm saying. Okay. But a lot of y'all do. So Don't feel offended. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's not about you, then don't worry about it. But yeah, I don't know what this says about a woman. I mean, I guess it says that she's really immature, that she would want to be in a relationship with a man that much younger than her. I mean, it shows through in the relationship that he's much younger than her, even though she's immature as well. But anyway, everyone has to take a card from the deck and they have to answer a question. If they don't answer the question, they have to take off an article of clothing. CeeLo is like, my woman ain't taking off no clothes. I'm just like, shut up, CeeLo. Shani's question is, does she think about getting tied up? And she says yes. Apparently that was a surprise to CeeLo. CeeLo gets increasingly annoyed throughout this day, okay, about this specific topic because he's supposed to be the love gun, okay? So if there are things not being handled as far as Shani is concerned in their bedroom, he is definitely going to feel some type of way about it. There's no doubt about it. He's too insecure not to. CeeLo is asked, when was the last time he was so turned on he couldn't stand it? And he says, actually, the other day, they was in there doing yoga and he started to feel some type of way and they got on up out the way and did what they did. michel'le talks about how Stu wants to blow her back out, but he doesn't do anything to warm her up, you know, and that's a problem and that's an issue. And Stu, I see you've been on my Instagram. I see you've been on my Twitter, Chef Stu. How are you? I'm good. Okay. It was just a joke. All right. Okay. You could do drugs like most people do drugs. Like, but you drink and smoke cigars, don't you? Those things aren't good either. Okay. You could have just been drunk and not high. It was just a joke. Don't take it so seriously. Okay. Like nobody's like judging you. Not really. Like, I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, don't be offended by anything. These are just assessments of what I'm watching. But you know, hey, Chef Stu, how are you? But yeah. Okay. So Chef Stu, your facial hair and your haircut tell me that you are too old to not know how to warm up the kitty cat. Okay? You need to learn how to warm up the kitty cat, as Jocelyn would say. Stu is asked if he's ever cheated, and he says no, not yet. I don't know why he had to put that no, not yet on the end of that. Like, why say not yet? You know what I'm saying? Like, I do understand what you mean, and maybe I wouldn't have taken it, you know, that deep. I'd have been like, oh, not yet, huh? Oh, okay. I'd take comments like that on the chin. Like, oh, word? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Sure. I'm not even going to take that personally because if it ever happens, I'm going to find out about it and you ain't going to have to tell me. My women's intuition is strong. Bianca and Chose feel like they're listening to their parents talk about sex. I'm like, Bianca, you are not that much younger. You are, but you're not that much younger. Like, y'all acting like y'all are 18 and 19 on the show with a whole bunch of 40-year-olds. Like, you are almost 30. And these people are in their 40s and 50s. Like, Bianca, like 15 years, you know, you could definitely be somebody's mama at that age. But at the same time, like, shut up. Like, ugh. Chose says that he isn't attracted to anybody else in the house. I said lies. Absolute and utter lies. First of all, Ajua has a presence about her. Shani is super cute. But most of all, the Puerto Rican princess Jocelyn Hernandez is in the house. And there is no way you are not attracted to Jocelyn Hernandez. That doesn't even make sense to me. Bianca says that she wants a threesome, but Chose feels like she's too damn crazy for them to ever try that. And I totally agree. CeeLo was asked what would his name be if it was like, what would we say was his sex name? I can't remember what it was, but he said Mr. Lojangles. I was like, yeah, because you're already low to the ground. That's why. So Shani masturbates at least 3 times a week. Okay, that's healthy. Stu has never given a lap dance, so he gives a terrible rendition of a lap dance. And the bottom line is you should be able to talk about sex and intimacy with your partner if there are issues. And you need to be receptive when you have those conversations, because sometimes you need to change things and sometimes the other person needs to change things. But you definitely need to be able to have that conversation. And at some point I saw that CeeLo became uncomfortable with the fact that Shani was being honest about what her experiences in bed with him are like. Not that they're bad, but the fact that she had anything negative to say seems to be an issue. Because like as the day went on, I just kind of saw him change from being okay with everything to like bothered, because they started off by saying they always talk about it, they don't have any issues in that department. Turns out that wasn't the truth. Bianca and Chose go upstairs and have sex after the drill. Everyone else stays downstairs and talks about Stu, saying that he hadn't cheated yet. And Styles tells michel'le to stop protecting Stu. He's a grown-ass man. I wasn't sure what was going on in this conversation because of the way they edited it together. But one thing I do understand is Stu feeling the need to not have real conversations with michel'le because he doesn't want to overload her. He feels like she's been through so many things with the men that she's been with. She's been with some gangster ass people, and she's been in some terrible relationships. So I feel like he's always holding back as to not do the most, but I also feel like that's somewhat like bullshit. Like it may be true a little bit, but I don't think that's the bulk of y'all problem. I think the bulk of y'all problem is that Stu lacks awareness, like self-awareness. People are like that sometimes. They don't notice how they come off. Like, we all have those issues every now and again. Trust me, I know I do. Okay, it's been a struggle my entire life understanding how I come off versus what I really felt and meant in that moment. So I think there's a lot going on here for Stu. He has a lot on his mind. Bootcamp is putting a lot on his mind, and he's not sure if he feels he and michel'le should be in that process because he's not sure if their relationship is that strong. But I feel like y'all have only been together for 10 months. Everybody else has been in the relationships they've been in much longer, at least 2 years. So a year or two. Bianca and Chosen's, I'm not sure. I think that's a year or 2 years. Whatever it is, it's longer than Stu and michel'le. But they are both grown, so their relationship should have more quality in a shorter amount of time. And I think that was the thought process behind putting them on the show. But ultimately, I feel like you knew that you weren't going to be a relationship that, was like one of the longer relationships. You knew you weren't going to be that. So why now is it an issue? I'm wondering if they're like the fake couple. I don't know. I'm thinking about that. When Jocelyn and Rob get on the phone with Bonnie Bella, after they talked to her, Adjua and michel'le came upstairs to find out what was going on. And she cries and tells him that Stevie wants full custody and Jocelyn has to give up her baby. And she's crying and she's really upset. And michel'le has been through the same thing. So she totally understands how she feels, but she has to turn the baby over. So everybody was trying to get her to understand that. Adjua says that Styles P and Stevie talk to each other. So she was going to get him to call Stevie. He does call Stevie, but Stevie doesn't answer the phone. But ultimately, Styles says you need to look at this like this is just an opportunity for her to spend some time with her father. Like, you just need to look at it like that and let that be what it is, because it's only temporary. This is not a permanent situation, so don't stress yourself out about it. They were all up there trying to encourage her, and they also notice and witness how supportive she and Rob are with one another, which I do really, really love to see. I'm so happy for Jocelyn because she seems very content in that relationship, and I like Rob. He don't let her, punk him. And that's the type of man she needs. She don't need nobody that she can punk. Chosen and Bianca talked to Shani and CeeLo about their current issue. And she says, so, you're just going to find somebody perfect. Like, it's this whole thing about what Bianca isn't and what he sees as perfect, and if he's going to be able to find that. Like, she feels like he needs to take her faults because she takes his. Y'all really need to just let this relationship go. It's toxic, Bianca. And I'm sorry, but Chosen is right. He is absolutely right that it shouldn't be this hard. Y'all relationship is too damn hard. And I'm sorry that you are not chemically in a place where you can let go of that. Like, that's sad to me that at this age you can't let go of this. This is bad. Let it go. Jocelyn and Rob do the exercise in the kitchen after they finish dealing with everything. They came downstairs and everybody gets them to do the exercise that they missed out on. And it really helped. And you could see the relief on Jocelyn's face to be laughing and having a good time with everybody after spending a whole morning crying. They asked when is Jocelyn turned on, and she's like, I'm turned on whenever he walk into the room. I was like, oh, y'all cute. He doesn't want to answer if they are sexually adventurous. And Jocelyn says, well, he's very conservative. Then he gives her this lap dance, and his lap dance was better than Stu's. It's all about it's all about that. It's all about the dick pop. You got to get the dick pop going. But it was just nice to see the whole house come around them and uplift them. Like, you could feel the energy shift, and it was real cool to watch. So they get called down for the sex puppets, y'all. I love when they do the sex puppets. Shani and CeeLo go first. And he used to be more in control at the beginning of their sex life, but now it seems as if she does everything. And she wants him to take more control of the situation. There are also times when she tries to initiate sex with him, and if he's not in the mood, he's not going to do it. It doesn't matter if she wants it, he won't do it just because she wants it. He has to be in the mood. And he feels like, he wants it to be when he's in the mood because they never have a bad session when he's in the mood. And it's like, yeah, but it's not always about you. Like, that's the point. He says that they can variate, but they don't really have a problem in bed. And see, this is when things kind of got uncomfortable. He says that they are polar opposites. He's realized that. I said, this is him being passive aggressive. They're polar opposites. And if they don't get their communication together, it's over. I said, really? Y'all relationship is about to be over? Word over this? Okay, CeeLo, you in your feelings right now. Stu tells everybody that michel'le cried the first time they had sex, and she was like, I was celibate for 2 years. Like, it wasn't just because of you. Okay, but look, we've heard that the sex is good and that, when she is warmed up, Stu breaks her back. That's what we've heard time and time again. Jocelyn says Rob doesn't make love to her cootie cat with his mouth. Okay, I don't understand. Like, you did it with your last girlfriend, though, didn't you? You did it with the last one, didn't you? You did it with your ex, didn't you? And he like, I don't want to talk about that. Maybe we'll get there. That's something we could try. And I'm like, child, that's a rule for me. I'm sorry. That is a rule breaker. If there are things like, I feel like there's only one rule. No anal. That's my one rule. Besides that, I'm down for whatever. And I feel like those are things that should be discussed at the beginning of a relationship, because I can't be with somebody that's, not gonna put their mouth on me. Like, I just can't. Like, what we gonna do then? Like, you not about to just be out here like poking me? No. We need to make sure I'm warmed up. Okay. So yeah, no, I'm not here for that. Bianca and Chose talk about their sex cycle and how there needs to be an emotional connection, because without it, they're just having sex. I told y'all. michel'le says that she needs to get used to being with a good guy, and Stu is a good guy, and she just needs time, just like he needs the understanding. She needs the understanding as well. Adjua in their relationship uses sex as a weapon. Okay. Waka! Like, if y'all don't remember that from House Party 3, okay, look, TLC with sex is a weapon. The way Adjua and Styles P kind of went from being upset with one another because it's an uncomfortable conversation to I love you and I support you and all of that, it was beautiful. Their relationship is so touching to me. Like, I love them. I really do. So y'all, Stu got a lot on his mind. Okay, he talks to michel'le about how he's been feeling. She can't believe that he told everybody she cried the first time. And I'm like, girl, get over it. Like, what you wanted him to lie? Like, he was like, I needed people to understand like the severity of the situation. And Stu also took the responsibility of being with her after her celibacy seriously. And I think he wanted that to be understood. Like, people think that I don't love you while I don't have love for you, and that's not the case. I think Stu has a hard time communicating what he means when he says things. I think that's the disconnect between what's happening in his mind and what's coming out of his mouth. Okay, I think there's a disconnect in there somewhere. But ultimately, I think that he was trying to let people know that he cares about her, even though it doesn't seem that way. But there's also something else going on that they're not communicating to us, and I'm waiting on it. Chose and Bianca are hugged up, arguing about how they don't be hugged up. I can't with them. They doing exactly what Dr. Ish says they do, which is be physical and then still argue at the same time. That's what they've been doing this entire time, and they're doing it again. CeeLo is in the bed mad with Shiny because he feels like people are out here laughing at him. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, why are you tripping out? Why are you so insecure? Like, get out of your feelings, brother. Y'all, I'm over them. Anyway, let's move on to Waka and Tammy, okay? Because I'm over marriage boot camp for the moment. I really love Jocelyn, though. Jocelyn and Rob this episode, and Styles and Adjua. Like, they were everything this episode. All right, so Deb talks to the brat, y'all. That was one of the things that happened in this episode. She discussed with the brat how she feels responsible for Waka's pain because she wasn't emotionally available to her children. She wasn't that type of mother. She wasn't raised to be that type of mother. And Waka is somebody that really needs emotional support. He's been through so many terrible things in his life that he is not fully processing things at this point. And it's kind of scary to watch, okay? And I think it's so funny that Deb doesn't understand why he chose Tammy. She's feeling some type of way seeing the way Tammy talks to and handles Waka, but it's like he chose her because of the type of relationship he had with you. Yes, you are the first woman to ever love Waka, and he loves you dearly, but ultimately you are harsh with your words, just like Tammy is. And that is why he chose her. Now, how we got to I hate my wife when I wake up in the morning sometimes, I don't know, okay? We still trying to understand that, because when they was on Marriage Bootcamp, we ain't never hear him say he hated her. Like, that's some words. I hate you. And right now in their relationship, he's not in a good place, but he's not communicating with her about it. And she knows that something is off. And when she tries to talk to him, he says, he going through something, he'll deal with it. But I feel like it's so unfair for you to punish her and then not communicate with her about whatever she's doing wrong. I think that Waka can't deal with the fact that Tammy is still hurt behind all of the different infidelities. I think he can't deal with the fact that she just can't be this, sensitive, feminine, soft woman all the time. I think Tammy is very much that at moments. I think she lets him be a man. She lets him be my husband and all of that. But ultimately, she is a strong woman. And you got with a strong woman and you messed up that bond that y'all had. You messed up the trust, and y'all have decided to stay together, and she's gonna have to deal with the fact that you hurt her for her entire life. So you need to be able to deal with it if you want to be with her, because this is what you did to y'all's relationship. And I don't like the way you aren't really held responsible for that, because in your relationship with your mother, she's sitting up there telling you that you haven't done anything wrong, and you know good and goddamn well you have. Brad tells Deb she needs to mind her business sometimes, though. Like, stop being in everybody's business, telling them what to do. Waka does need to go to therapy. He does need to communicate with Tammy about what he's going through, but he definitely needs to go to therapy all on his own. And I think you didn't like that idea, because then it makes it about you. Because when people go to therapy, it's, I got issues with my parents. Yeah. And that's always what it is in our everyday life. It's not even just issues we have from growing up, but just our everyday life. Yes, that's what therapy is for, to help us go through the emotions that we're dealing with when we have a hard time. And sometimes just to have maintenance for people who will have a hard time, who do have really bad anxiety. So I think Waka needs to really step into the mind frame that he's already in. The fact that you even want to do that shows that you need to fix some things. So stop acting like it's all Tammy's fault. I'm not here with that. When Waka does go to therapy, he talks about wanting to help the artists on his label, but he feels like he's always having to be on the lookout for people taking advantage. And they do, and they think he doesn't know about it. And he does. But he lets a lot of things slide. So I think there's a lot of stress on him. He talks about growing up in a crack era. And, probably Deb selling crack. And then, allegedly. And then his dad dying right out of prison. So I haven't even spent time with this man, and then he's gone. And then he has one brother have his brains blowed out in front of him, which is ridiculous. And he took 2 weeks to get over that. And then his other little brother died, and he took 2 days to get over that. And it's like, you're not getting over anything. You're just not processing. You just learned how to move on. That's what Black people do. That's what we've always had to do. But I think as you elevate and as you become more conscious as a people about your own issues and where you need to fix and alter your mindset in order to be better for your next generation, and so on, because that's what it's supposed to be about, being better for the next generation, then I think that we all need to realize that as Black people, the trauma that we go through universally is a lot. It's a lot. And it's not weak to need somebody to help you filter through all of that. I feel like a lot of us would have had better experiences as children if our parents had thought well enough of themselves to think they deserved mental health as much as everything else. But our parents don't think about mental health. They drink, they smoke, they go to church, they club, they do whatever they do to deal with their issue. They pick up a vice. They don't go to therapy and work through the issue and try to get past it. Like, they don't do that. They just keep going and be like, yeah, I got past it. But underneath it all, they can cry at the drop of a hat about something if they think about it for long enough. So I think that it is very important to get out of that mindset. And maybe this conversation that Waka is having is very important for people who look like him to see him in this setting, even though he can be so ignorant, as he often is on social media. Waka also says that he doesn't know if he can stay married to Tammy if she continues to be so disrespectful and so harsh with her words. And I just kind of feel like, oh, so there's something that she can do to make you leave her after all of the things that she stayed with you past. Like, really? All the cheating, all the lying, all the things that Waka has done publicly to humiliate this girl. And you gonna turn around and tell me that some harsh words that your ass should be used to at this point, okay? That's what's gonna make you run and leave out of the marriage? Like, boy, get out of my face with this. I feel like at this point, if you ain't went nowhere, you ain't going nowhere. And if you do, we will stone you. I'm just playing. I'm just playing, but we will be upset. We will be highly upset. Tammy talks to her mom about Waka not having her back when it comes to Charlie and her being punished when she's being disrespectful and a smart mouth, okay? She a little smart mouth, okay? She's as cute as a button, but she's a teenager and you want to choke them out sometimes. You know you can't. It's illegal, but you want to. Tammy feels like Waka should understand where she's coming from. She doesn't want to raise a bougie, spoiled ass child. They had to get it out the mud. They don't want to raise a child that will become a person they don't like. I understand that. I really, really do. I understand where Tammy is coming from, and I feel her on that. Tammy is also doing a women's empowerment event for women. So, in order to help them become more successful in their businesses. And she talks to her sisters and her mom about Waka and how she's noticing that he's having issues and that he's not talking to her or opening up to her about it. So the big thing in the episode was Waka was supposed to watch Charlie. And I hate when people say babysit. You talking about I'm a great parent. Then stop saying babysit, because that's not what being a parent is. No, I got to make sure I'm home with my kid because my kid can't be out here at the house by themselves. Okay. And the mama is somewhere handling business. So I need to be the one at home with the kid. That's how that works. That's how the thought process should go. She's supposed to be punished, but he gets a phone call from a friend about a hockey game or a soccer game. Apparently Waka loves soccer and he loves beer. So he had such a good time at the soccer game with his beer on social media, posting it like he was supposed to be there. He was not supposed to be there. He was supposed to be at home with Charlie. Somebody calls Tammy and tells her about the video. She sees it online. Now he's in trouble. She gets home and Charlie has these terrible blonde braids in her hair. Terrible blonde braids. And Tammy is like, oh, so I leave and go out of town and you go to a soccer game and she going to hang out with her friends and get her hair done. Is that punishment? Does that sound like punishment to you? And he was like, man, she went to the hair salon. I took her to the hair salon. And she was like, what about this video? And he was like, that's Photoshop. I said, now, Joaquin, if you don't stop, okay? Joaquin, get out of my face, okay? I couldn't believe him with that, all right? But she tells Charlie to take them braids out of her hair. First of all, them braids were terrible. She has dark brown hair and they put the nastiest blonde looking braids they could in her head. They were not done well at all. And I don't understand why she thought that was better than slicking her hair back into a ponytail. It wasn't. And her mama knew better. So her mama told her to take the braids out. She act like she ain't gonna take the braids out. So her mama said, if you don't take the braids out, I'ma cut the braids out. She decides to run around the house like a maniac. Tammy chases her with the scissors in her hand. Not smart, but we're gonna let that go for now. And she, the girl falls on the ground. She goes up to her. She's like, take it out. She's like, no, I gotta go to school. So she takes one braid and cuts the end of one braid. And everybody acts like she just committed the worst case of child abuse they've ever seen in their life. Y'all need to stop. If I say my damn child can't have them nasty looking braids in her hair, then she can't have those nasty looking braids in her hair. It's my child, okay? And it looked bad. It looked bad, okay? So on that purpose alone, I understood where Tammy was coming from. And if I tell you to do something and you tell me you're not going to do it, then I'm going to do it for you, okay? That's how that go, all right? And I feel like Waka should have backed her up on that. I don't think it was a big deal. I think you make Charlie think she can get away with things. And she tries to get away away with things. She tries to press Tammy and challenge Tammy, and she's a teenager, so that's what she's supposed to do. But as a parent, Tammy's supposed to slap that ass back into check. Like that's what's supposed to happen, okay? So I don't feel like Tammy did anything that was that terrible. It wasn't like she was that mean ass lady that cut her little toddler baby's hair out in front of everybody on the street. Like, that was terrible. I mean, Tammy just cut one braid. Like, she cut one braid and she said, now take it out. Because now that one braid is messed up, you got to take it out. Like, you're not about to walk around with the one braid that's cut like that. So she's going to take it out the head after that. But I was just kind of like, it wasn't that big of a deal. I think if the little girl hadn't ran off, it wouldn't have seemed that bad. Like, if you would listen to what I told you to do, don't tell me you're not going to do what I just told you to do. And we don't have a problem, so... I guess I don't know. I just didn't feel like it was that bad. She's a teenager. She'll be all right. She'll recover. Okay. Look. Anyway, y'all, that was Tammy and Waka. The show is good enough. I think I'm gonna keep doing it like this, putting it on the end of Marriage Boot Camp. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And follow me on all other platforms, please, so you can make sure you are abreast when videos come out, just in case YouTube be tripping. So follow me. And love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Share the video. See y'all in the next one.